I actually did do a pros and cons video with Lucha Underground versus WWE, but this one here is a suggestion. This is a suggestion that was brought to me by one of my newest subscribers, Prince of Strong Style 9 version 2 or V2. He actually made a decent suggestion. Why not make a pros and cons video about Triple H running and owning the WWE or running the WWE? And honestly, I'm trying not to make it a bit one-sided here. I actually do now at this current state see more pros and cons, but I would actually try to be fair and balanced here. So let's start off with my pros. There are many pros of having Paul Levesque actually running WWE, and I can name so many off the top of my head. But let's just be real here. Now, he was a wrestler from the very beginning. He was all the way down and worked his way up. And I guess people say, oh, he married the boss's daughter, but no. This guy was in business from the very beginning. Not to mention that he was a wrestler from the bottom, starting from the bottom, work his way up. So he knows exactly how the business works. He knows exactly how wrestling works because he is a wrestler. He was one. And can we say NXT? That's one of his crowning achievements that he has ever had in his entire career, his entire life. Sure, he was great as a wrestler with being the cerebral assassin, but now being the COO businessman, he is handling business. He literally took something that was a developmental, somewhat like an internship to the main roster and made it an independent brand, and it's huge. It's way better than the actual Raw and SmackDown brand, and he knows how to create new stars. There's so many I can freaking name. And honestly, the most amazing one, there's two amazing ones that I'm going to bring out. And they're both tag teams. He knows how to bring back the tag team division. The tag team division on NXT is the most innovative and creative and entertaining tag teams that I've ever seen. Shoot, all Raw has is the New Day. They got several. One of them, by all means, is my favorite, the Vaudevillains. Oh my gosh. You take 19th century strongmen and make it into a gimmick and it works. And can we talk about Enzo and Cass? Oh my gosh, Enzo Amore has a promo that is a paragraph long and everybody remembers that paragraph word for freaking word. That shows that you got a star on your hands. That shows that you know how to spot talent. That is what makes Paul Levesque so great in running the show. And that is what Raw and SmackDown are desperate to have. New talent, new stars. Instead of going back to the old legends to try to bring ratings back up, they need to start creating new stars. Because your John Cena's, your Randy Orton's, your Big Shows, your Mark Henrys, they're going to be retiring soon. They can't last that long. So you got to create new stars to have the whole machine going. And he honestly knows exactly what he's doing. And can we talk about the actual Divas Revolution? The fact that he had Bayley and Sasha Banks main event a pay-per-view and literally tear the house down shows that he knows exactly what he's doing. The chicks that he chose to actually be at his side for one of his I think for WrestleMania 30 for one of his entrances, they were all NXT divas. They were all NXT women wrestlers. He knows how to spot talent, guys. He knows how to spot talent. He knows how to bring new stars. And he knows how to make the show well balanced to where it's not storyline heavy, but it's more so on the wrestling. You bring out the wrestling, but storyline to make it interesting and actually tell a story in the ring. You see that every night on NXT. By far, I am saying that this man really knows exactly what he's doing. He needs to start running the show, and Vince needs to take several steps back. He was lucky when it came to the Attitude Era being the way it was. Well, he was blessed to be in that position. But now that that's over, times have moved on. He needs to move on too, and he needs to actually have Paul Levesque take over. But guys, despite all of the accolades, all of the accomplishments, all of the wondrous moments that Paul Levesque has achieved so far, there are some cons. So let's get started with those. There may not be many, but there are some. One of the biggest problems that is going on at this point in time when it comes to any type of person of authority to be running a company is always the ego of that individual. We all know that Triple H, or let me reverse that, Paul Levesque, aka Triple H, is a man of ego. We know this guy has a huge ego. This guy is probably Vince's son that he's never had, because he's the exact version of Vince. And that can be a problem. The biggest problem with TNA was that we saw the Immortals every freaking night, and we saw Dixie Carter every freaking night, and we never had a break from them. It's bad enough that we see the Authority, well, not every single night, maybe every other night, but before, oh my gosh, they were on our screen every single time. The only problem with Triple H, and I'm going to say Triple H and Paul Levesque, is that they can't take themselves out of the situation when the situation doesn't need them. When it comes to Paul Levesque, he's a businessman. He's a businessman. He'll take care of business if he has to. But when it comes to Triple H, the Triple H side, he has to be in the spotlight, which is a problem. Triple H is a well-known character. He's a well-known guy. He's already cemented his his legendary status. He already cemented his legacy. He needs to take a step aside and literally be that guy. If he decides to actually come out and perform and wrestle again, he literally has to allow that guy to win. He has to lay down for that dude. Is that something that Triple H is going to do? No, because his pride and ego won't allow him to. But then it also, when it comes to the fact that Triple H, when his ego gets the better of him, he's on our screen making main events with him in it every single night. But it's to the point where he's getting old. You can tell that he can't wrestle the same way that he could anymore. But if he actually was able to, he would be on our screens every night. That's one of the cons that you actually can have of Paul Levesque, aka Triple H, taking over the show, because he'll be like Vince during the Attitude Era. Vince was on our screens every single night. Triple H is going to be on our screens every single night, but he might not be as bad as Vince McMahon. There's also rumors going around that Paul Levesque's regime is different from Vince McMahon's regime, because Vince McMahon actually wants you to speak up, while Paul Levesque wants you to do as you're told. That's just a rumor behind the scenes. I don't know, and they actually do work like machines now. They actually do have a huge, crazy amount of endurance. And they never slow down, but they're never creative and fun. Hopefully, he might allow a little bit of creativity in there. Seeing how well NXT is doing, maybe he'll see that as a great business run. So maybe that might change. But that's the only con that I have of Triple H. There's not really a lot of them that I see at this moment. But guys, if you have cons, or if you have pros and cons of Paul Levesque, aka Triple H, running WWE, I want to hear your thoughts. Leave it in the comment section below, whether it's pros, cons, whatever, what have you. I want to hear y'all's thoughts on this, because honestly, I can't think of that many cons for Paul Levesque taking over. I actually think it will benefit at this point, because Vince obviously doesn't know what he's doing. He's literally changing stuff up at the last minute, and it's not making any sense. So I don't necessarily see a lot of cons for Paul Levesque to take over, but maybe y'all do. So leave in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts. It's Nature Girl 30 signing off. Peace out, guys. Later.